Consumer debt is a monster that can devour us one bill at a time. God clearly knows how dangerous this predator can be. Throughout Scripture, he speaks to its destructiveness. God even establishes laws meant to forgive his people of their liabilities. And of course, he paid the ultimate price for our debts with the blood of his son, Jesus. A redeemed world needs to be debt-free. Still, we struggle with it in our world today. IOUs are at an all-time high of $300 trillion of consumer debt. That means every person owes on an average of $37,000 US. We're firmly in the grip of this hideous monster. We all know how easy it is to fall into debt, and we know how difficult it can be to dig ourselves out. There are many reasons people find themselves in a financial pit. During this session, we want to focus our attention on the importance of financial literacy. As faith-driven entrepreneurs and business owners, we strive to provide a great place to work, a great culture, and a competitive wage. On top of that, we have a responsibility to make sure our employees have the life skills they need to manage their money well. It's not just a nice thing to do. Empowering people is a good business decision as well. Imagine what it would look like for our teams if they were all living debt-free. Consider how they could take the skills we provide them and be in position to understand the business even better. Perhaps they take what they learn and start a business of their own one day. In South Africa, low-income, less educated laborers are often victimized by predatory lenders. Against that backdrop, Pieter is using a fee-based membership model to provide financial services to their workers as an employee benefit. The result is something that looks amazingly like personalized private banking, but with low net worth clients. It also looks a lot like God's call for stewardship, servanthood, and justice. Let's watch.
En maar in die begin het ons so 'n bietjie skepties. Ons is nog nie seker nie. Ons weet die mense loop ons by in, wil jou geld steel en
die eerste keer toe Pieter by ons kom, was ons 'n bietjie op ons sene wees. Ons 'n bietjie baie ek sal sê baie van ons mense bietjie getwyfel, is dit nie weer 'n inloopding nie. So is maar hoe mens is.
The people that we engage with, they have been like robbed many times.
Essentially, we work with clients that work on the farm.
Very illiterate working population that you're dealing with. Part of it for historical reasons due to apartheid.
So we've got a systemic issue. South Africa is in quite a bad place when it comes to the dichotomy between the wealthy and the poor. We've got the most unequal society in the world. And a lot of the farm workers, they never went through the typical schooling system that we went through under apartheid. So they don't have the literacy that a lot of us are fortunate to have. So they're being exploited. And they're earning minimum wage, which is $250 a month.
A lot of our clients, they feel like getting a loan is like a quick fix to a problem, but then a couple of months later they have the same problem and then they want to take out another loan, and that's how they get into debt.
The terms and conditions that which they take out those loans are horrendous.
The credit providers are loading more debt to their names.
And then they start going deeper and deeper into it, and they can never really recover from it, never mind save.
South African households are highly indebted. We know that over the last few years there's been a big surge of unsecured lending.
Almost 8 million people have taken out, listen to this, a combined 225 billion rand worth of loans without collateral.
Now, some consumers use about 76% of their income to repay debt. Very little is put aside as savings.
We started doing a bit of research, and we found that people just didn't have access to good quality financial services products, and that they weren't able to lift themselves out of the poverty situation that they found themselves in. And I really felt God asking me, he said, so what are you now going to do about this problem?
Pieter is an employee benefit solution for employers of low-income workers, and what we do is we simplify wealth creation for low-income employees.
We do the financial education, we offer investment policies as well as responsible lending.
We work through employers, so you have to be employed. We don't have a retail channel. So we send out our team, they present to each one of their employees, and then each employee needs to decide for themselves whether they use our services.
I'm Denzel van der Merwe. I'm the CEO of Morester Estate. We're a fruit and vegetable farm in Ceres in South Africa. So due to the history of apartheid in South Africa, we decided to create a black farmer community in our area where our workers, they bought a piece of land next to us. They are 100% owner of that land, and we farm the operation 50-50. We equal partners. Later on, we noticed that a lot of the beneficiaries of the dividends didn't know financially how to use the money wisely.
At Pieter, we decided to make certain assumptions that I think most companies don't make. And it comes from my view of the world, my Christian faith, that full autonomy is not good for anyone. A lot of financial companies want you to have full choice on whatever you want to purchase. We'll educate you along the way, but the responsibility sits in your lap. Which in an environment that we operate, low-income workers who are working very long hours, don't have the time to train themselves, that is a recipe for disaster.
What we decided to do is to structure our products in such a way that if they take on debt, we put a portion of what they pay back into their savings. So whenever they end up taking loans, we'll just use that decision of theirs to their own benefit.
We also hide some of the savings in the fees that they pay us, that we give back to them into their assets, into an asset that they actually can't withdraw, that again boosts their balance sheet over the long term. I mean, these aren't new tips and techniques. We're just using it for the client's behalf as opposed to putting it into our pocket. And so we preemptively make decisions on their behalf that gives them options, but reduces all the worst options that can basically allow them to self-destruct. That's frowned upon as paternalism, but full autonomy of decision-making on the individual pre-assumes a lot of things that just doesn't exist in the real world.
So we started off with Pieter to assist our workers to get out of the debt trap and start the habit of saving.
Instead of taking out that payday loan, they start creating a habit of saving for things that I want.
When we saw that there's more money in the pockets of our workers, I've noticed the increase in human dignity.
uDenzeli wasibizela estadium kwinhlanganiso wafika yena wasichazela nangoPieter. Apha eplazini ndi-social worker ukuthi i-healthcare worker. Ndisebenza nasekliniki for translatela abantu ekliniki. Saba ke thina ukuthi siyakhalela ukungena lento kaPieter sifuna uyibona saqala kancinci phofu sifuna ukuyibona kuqala ngoba sasingayithembi kuba kubone into ezidibene nemali kumana ukuthi akawubeka imali engayo izawubanga sasingakholelwa kodwa saqalisa sayibeka imali ubuncanana njalo udenzela umuntu waxelela ngayo iPieter.
Maar toe ek was nog nie deel van Pieter nie. Ek het maar op maar gekyk. En toe ek sien maar my vrou breek nou so oor Pieter en so aan. Toe besluit ek maar wag. Ek gaan ook gaan belê. Ja, ek is trots op hulle en ek dink vir my het hulle iets goed of doen hulle iets goed.
At the end of the day, what we're promising is that we can actually measure how we've improved the client's balance sheet over time, because we are in the business of providing financial services that helps our clients navigate the challenges that life throws at them. Whether it's insurance or debt or savings, it's all in support of what the client ultimately wants to achieve with their life.
Pieter self vir my goed, ek was voor Pieter was so 'n debt geweest. En ek het gesien die debt het ek 2-3 jaar het is betaal, maar jy kom die skuld bring het en toe het ek dit gestop en goed oorgegee aan Pieter het my skuld betaal. Ek het al meubels gekoop deur Pieter, ek spaar by Pieter, ek het 'n funeral plan by Pieter. Ek neem al deel regte van Pieter, want Pieter was vir my 'n baie goeie pluspunt.
And that just makes you so you kind of feel like I did something good today, but it's just your job.
In a sense, it's a personal private banker visiting this farm worker, and I think it's a brilliant service that they provide.
By letting them know what is happening around their finances, I can change another person's life. And that is what Pieter is doing.
Managing money is a personal skill that benefits someone throughout life, but it's not a skill that everybody learns. With money coming in and going out, with due dates and finance charges, and with fees attached to invoices and bills, but the overall responsibility of making the right decisions about major purchases and investments consistently, it can be overwhelming, especially if you don't have a fundamental understanding of money management. Beyond paying our employees, we can put our faith into action by teaching them the basics of finances. We've heard a lot of groups working through Financial Peace University from Dave Ramsey. Also, Crown Financial offers programs for teams too. Both provide practical and tangible ways to move lessons from inspiration into action steps. Maybe you run those programs over lunch, or maybe you even offer and invite your employees to participate while they're on the clock. It's that important, and the ROI is there. Think about the headaches, lost productivity, and so much more you can minimize because your team is relieved of the distraction and weight of debt. If you enjoy this content, check us out at faithdrivenentrepreneur.org, where you'll find many additional resources for entrepreneurs and information about how to join a group with like-minded entrepreneurs in your area. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.